Welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 22. Ron, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
So good, man. There's so much to cover tonight, so we'll get right into it. Our leadoff story, the Milwaukee Bucks took care of business at home, evening the series at 2-2. Series is going back to Phoenix on Saturday night. Which team is more likely to win this series?
This is tough, I'll tell you, because it looks like it's a home court thing. Like, that's what it looks like. I mean, it's been totally different at each home. I mean, 2-2. We're going back to Phoenix, so, I mean, you would think Phoenix is going to win this. Looks like it's going to go 7 games.
So the funny thing is, as I started to deep dive the numbers, you're correct. The home teams won all 4 games. The actually dominated this series, though. The Bucks, if you look at the numbers, the sheer numbers, points in the paint, Phoenix 38 points a game average, Milwaukee 49.5 points. Second chance points, Phoenix 8.75, Milwaukee 16.25. Fast break points, Phoenix 8.25, Milwaukee 16.25. So they're almost doubling them on every category. Milwaukee's won this game in the paint with Giannis and his size, and they can't compete. It's concerning. I don't think Phoenix can win this series.
Yeah, like when you start breaking down where Milwaukee is getting those points and how the reserves have been playing. You know, I mean, like I said, first, Giannis is like dominating every game, it seems. Like they can't.
He's averaging 32 and 14 right now. 32 and 14 in the series.
And that's your superstar right there. That's what he is supposed to do. Now, when Middleton steps up and does what he's supposed to do, they're not going to be able to stop Milwaukee. Like Phoenix just can't stop them. And yeah, I mean, you look at this, they have to basically be honest so much, and they got to stop worrying about Middleton, to be honest. They got to key in on him and make him takes like Milwaukee is doing to Chris Paul. You know, but you got to do this to Middleton and stop him.
Yeah, so Chris Paul's averaging 4 turnovers a game. Booker shooting 30% from three-point range. That's not going to win it. 8 and 14 points a game. Bridges 13 points a game. They need those guys close to 20. Middleton right now, 24.5 points a game, shooting 36% from 3. Holiday's chipping in with 15 points. The big 3 for Milwaukee is doing what they need to do. The big 3 for Phoenix is not.
Chris Paul is making a lot of unforced errors. Well, maybe not unforced errors. You know, he's making mistakes back there that he wasn't doing through playoffs.
So I don't think if Milwaukee win Game 5 Saturday night, they win the series.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, if you can tell me or convince me otherwise, if you can convince me otherwise, you tell me I don't see it.
No,
they need to win Game
Milwaukee,
5, but I think Phoenix has to dominate.
Milwaukee, Game 5, they win the series in Game 6.
Yeah.
If Phoenix wins Game 5 close, then it's going to go to 7, and I think Milwaukee will take it.
Okay.
So Phoenix, you're right. Phoenix has to completely dominate. We got a bunch of fans out there. God,
God, thank you for joining.
Karen is there, joining
Karen,
in.
thank you.
So
appreciate
you for showing up and coming.
Let's talk some more basketball, but the Olympics with the men's basketball team.
God and Karen for a while.
Awesome. With the men's basketball team losing the 2 exhibition games, how concerned should we be?
No, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, how concerned should we be with them heading into the playoffs, the men's basketball team?
pretty concerned. I feel like they made some changes. They got Johnson and McGee, Kin, B, and Love, who shouldn't have been the first place, are out. Trey Young is actually wondering why he's not there.
Yeah, so my concern would be this is it's becoming a recruiting party. Basically what's happening is the players are there to basically try to recruit other players to go to their team. There's no sense of pride with the U.S. anymore that they're playing for the country and want to win for the country. This has turned into more of a spectacle than it is anything else. And I'm kind of disappointed that the players aren't taking it more seriously. Like, you lost 2 games to Nigeria and Australia. You got out-rebounded and out-assisted in both of those losses. How's that happen with a team that talented?
And to put more concern on this, we still have one guy that has been injured a lot in the past season. And he's your star. If he goes down, which is a good possibility, this could be a total disaster. Could be a total disaster.
So Tatum's already hurt. He's got a knee issue. If you look at the way the NBA is played today, there's not a lot less ball movement. It's more one-on-one. These countries have learned how to play basketball at a better rate than the United States. We have regressed in basketball when it comes to the skills of crisp passing, moving without the ball. You know, everything now is a one-on-one game, and these countries are starting to play better than us. So I am concerned.
Well, it was inevitable that the world starts to catch up. I mean, it's not there by no means because, you know, these are all individual countries that we're getting for a pool of teams. So, I mean, you think most countries don't even have a superstar. But if they get players that are very capable, you have that team with one or two good quality NBA players, they can surprise the United States. And I mean, it could be, like I said, it could be a disaster.
Think about it. I mean, we've always talked about, right, teamwork, and teams make the difference. And these teams are playing as teams. The United States are looking, again, your stats in the Olympics don't matter. I don't care how many points you score, how many rebounds, assists. If you play as a team and you win as a team, you win as a country. And I think they need to start to understand that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not all about superstars. And the NHL was the perfect example of that, with Montreal making it to the Stanley Cup. You know, if you play what you're supposed to do in your role, you got a good shot at winning it. And any of these teams can come and sneak up and bite them in the ass.
Want to thank some of the fans that are joining in. OG Extract, Memph23452. Dan, as usual, one of our loyal viewers. Appreciate you guys coming on and joining us on Sports Unfolded. We're going to talk some UFC because Sports Unfolded, we cover everything. So with his recent loss to Dustin Poirier, is it time for Conor McGregor to retire from the sport?
So I loved every minute. I'm sorry, like, I don't know if I would have loved it for it.
Yeah,
but I get it for nothing. But I'm sorry, McGregor is a pompous ass, and he got everything he deserved, and he's still and whining and bitching on his ass.
He's 22-6 in his career, but he's 3-4 in his last 7 fights. So you can already start to see that decline in his career. And it reminded me a lot of Ronda Rousey. So if you look at Ronda Rousey, when she first got into the sport, dominated. And then she lost those last 2. She got out.
Yeah, nobody could beat her.
She got out right in time. I think McGregor's lost something. I don't think he's got that fight in him anymore. It's more about, look, he's made enough money to walk away and be okay.
You know what the
without a
problem
doubt.
is? The problem, Eric. The problem, Eric. He has too much proper number 12 in him.
I don't know about that.
All that Irish whiskey has gotten to him. It's made him soft.
But think about this, too. When Mike Tyson realized he couldn't beat somebody, right? Let's look at the Evander Holyfield fight. He bites the ear, right? He does things that was uncharacteristic. You're starting to see that with McGregor. You're starting to see more of the excuses. How he's attacking Poirier's wife afterwards, and just the antics of it, but not the actual fighter. He's not talking about fighting anymore. He's not talking about heart and wanting to beat somebody. He's trying to make it a spectacle because it's just a show now. It's more about making money because it's a payday for him when he's in the octagon.
I mean,
Fortnite King, thanks for joining.
And he has a yeah, he has a lifestyle that he has to uphold now too. So, so he's marketable, and it comes a point in his life once you've hit that marketing. I'm sorry, you don't have that killer instinct anymore. Now it's just all about making that money on advertising for everybody. And I'm sorry, I think that got the best of McGregor. He doesn't have that killer instinct. And all these guys that look at him do, because they're not making.
Look, let's look at.
I think he's done.
Let's look at a boxer too. What about Floyd Mayweather? If you look at Floyd Mayweather, how many fights has he really done? He's not fighting anybody anymore that's of any relevance. He's taking on all these charity fights and everything else because he knows that he doesn't have it anymore. McGregor might need to just do the same thing and decide to say, I'm done with it. Logan Paul, fight him. Here's your shot. You got a good shot of beating him.
Right. Right. Exactly. And it's just... It's time. It's time. Like every fighter has to go through this. There comes a point where you just can't compete like you used to. And you made the perfect example with Ronda Rousey. Like, she lost those 2 fights and she knew. Like, she does have enough to that going. And it just, like, and in UFC, it's going to be quicker than it is in boxing. Because it's such a brutal sport. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, he's talking about coming back, and he wants a 4th match with Poirier. I mean, other than it's obviously going to draw money again, but that's the only reason it would even make sense. But it's not to see him win because I don't think he can.
I think it's just over for him. It's over.
Speaking of over, NHL, Bruins defenseman Kevin Miller announced his retirement. Was it time?
Yes. Like
the fact that you delayed that.
I love Kevin Miller's game. Well, yes, because there's a lot of consequences being Kevin Miller. And it all starts with his toughness. Now, we're getting hit, outmatched physically. Everybody in the playoffs had played. The Islanders and Washington. They were getting pummeled. And mostly because they have enough size on that blue line. Kevin Miller brought that. He couldn't play because of injuries and most of it. So when you lose a guy like that,
in his 7-year career, in his 7-year career, he hasn't had a single full season, and he played 4 games in the playoffs this season. So
too bad because, it's sad because, and now the Bruins and Brandon Carlo, they signed him to an extension. I wouldn't have done it because he's another one. He's always hurt. Always hurt in the playoffs. You can't continuously lose a guy like that in the playoffs because you're not going to win. They need Carlo to play. And sorry, he's got issues. Another should have retired.
What should the Bruins do next? What's the move? What's the next move for the Boston Bruins?
Well, I wanted them to go out and sign a defenseman like we had talked about during the end of the Bruins run. But that's not going to happen now because they re-signed Carlo. And if they re-sign Rask, then you can forget a player coming in to the fold. Then it would just be, they'll go sign Krejci, they'll go sign Hall. And it'll be the same team coming back, which is because, as they get rid of players like Corrali and Wagner and stuff like that, that's all fine because they have guys that can come in and replace them. But I want somebody new coming into the fold. I wanted that defense, a bigger defenseman, also move the puck, and that's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I'm a little disappointed in you as a Bruins fan that you'd be okay with them bringing back the same team who underperformed and
we're on delay.
Should have been in the Stanley Cup.
100%, liking that. But they signed Carlo, and there's nothing I can do about that. That's the one piece that I would have changed. Not saying that I didn't like Carlo, because I love him as a player, but he's not healthy enough, and he's not going to play a full season ever.
All right, we'll have to see what the Bruins do going down, later on in time and see if they can make some changes. But we're going to move on to our new segment, Triple Play. So with the recent All-Star game, which of these young players would you start, bench, and cut? Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr., and Shohei Ohtani. So you went first last week, so I'm up first this week, Ron.
Yep. Go for it.
So my start
different
is Tatis Jr. I think the kid's exciting. I think he's got so much excitement in him
already.
I would bench Ohtani because I just like the aspect of having the pitcher/hitter. And as great as he played in the All-Star game, Vlad unfortunately ends up on the cutting block, Vlad Jr. So that's how I would do it. Tatis Jr., Ohtani, and Vlad Jr., my triple play.
Yeah. Like with these three, you can coin because no matter getting an incredible player, my starter is Ohtani. I'm sorry. This he's just dynamic. A once in a century player. Last time we saw somebody like this was Babe Ruth. I'm sorry. Like, this kid is the real deal. I don't know how much of a kid is, but kid to me, he is definitely a starter without it because he brings too much to the table. Bench, I put Vladdy. And look, I spent a lot of years watching his father play, and his father was the best, worst ball hitter, the worst pitch hitter that I've ever seen. He'll go reach out there 5 feet if he could and hit a home run with it. Vlad Jr. is actually a better hitter. So I would definitely take Vladimir and Tatis. Really. I got to cut him. I don't want to.
Like it's tough.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole point
crazy.
of this, though. It makes it very difficult.
Yeah, so if anybody else knows these three players, post them up. We'll put it up on the screen.
So Dan has posted.
I like to hear other people's.
Dan would cut Shohan.
Of course he would. He takes the best. It takes the best players all the time.
But I don't understand too. We're not trading players. We're benching players. So Guerrero's on your bench, I would assume, Dan. Not trading him.
Yeah, there's no trade. You have to just cut him. So he can go sit with Trey Young for you.
There you go. So once again, if you're joining us, we are live. We're on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We're on every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. On social media, on Facebook and Twitter, at Sports Unfolded, at Broadcasting on RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram, and podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, and Google. So tons of ways to talk to us, tons of ways to watch. We have a lot of Twitter followers and Twitter fans out there tonight. We appreciate you.
A lot of Twitch guys out there.
Twitter.
They will fear me from Twitch. There's a lot of you guys, and I'm glad you came out and supported. They're a great group of people in the chat room, so get in there. So if you're on Twitch, get in with these guys and follow them, follow us, follow everybody, follow each other. We go a long way.
Definitely. Let's move on to some Major League Baseball. So after that triple play, we're going to move on to some Major League Baseball. What was your impressions of the MLB's All-Star Game?
I never impressed with the baseball All-Star Game, so therefore I did not
American
watch the
League
game.
won 5-2.
Yup. The home run derby though, that was pretty awesome.
That was exciting. What about Vlad Guerrero Jr. winning the MVP and Ohtani the winning pitcher?
Well, first of all, if you pitched
one inning, I get it.
Yeah, is it by rule you have to as a starter you have to make it out of the fifth inning in order to get a decision?
Major League Baseball makes up rules. Remember that it's a no hitter didn't count because it was 7 innings. So we could do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
But you picked 1 inning, it counted in the All-Star game. I don't know. I was really expecting a higher score. I don't know if it was me, but you think you're in Colorado. I was expecting like a 10-8.
Yeah, you're in.
And 5-2.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me. It made no sense whatsoever.
So here we go with the bad joke of the day is there were more COVID cases that came out of the All-Star game than runs scored.
Unfortunately, that might really be true.
Yeah. And so 6 Yankees have tested positive.
The downfall for this.
Yeah. So Judge tested positive right after the All-Star game. So we could see a lot more coming out of this.
Yeah, and the fact that Judge was with Hank Aaron's wife, talking to her throughout, the festivities, that's a little concerning. And they did I do have to say they did a nice tribute to Hank Aaron away. So, like all the players in the home run derby did, in fact, wear his number. That was pretty awesome. But getting back to the Yankees, and now they got to play the Red Sox for a 4-game series.
Tonight.
The first game was already postponed, so I don't know what to do about that.
That one's going to be in August now, they're saying. August.
And the sad part is the Yankees are supposedly had 85% of the players, got vaccinated.
Yep.
And so we don't know which players, ended up having it. So I'm, hey, just because you get vaccinated, you're not going to get it. But it just makes you less likely to get very sick. Now, the Red Sox players that went to the All-Star game, from what I understand, none of those players were vaccinated yet.
Luck of the draw, right? I don't know what's going on.
So this could be a disaster for baseball. As if they need another one, Yeah. So we're waiting for the bombshell, really.
So I just wanted to go back to the home run derby real quick. And if you look at Pete Alonso, he's a two-time champ now. Do you think he could be catch up to Ken Griffey Jr.? So Ken Griffey won 3 of them.
Well, I hope not. Like, you know, like, no, I'm not taking anything from Alonso. I don't want him to be the one to break Ken Griffey. You know, like Ken Griffey, like that was a ball player. That was a great ball player. Like, and I don't want Alonso to break that record. To be honest,
So a couple good stories out of that. Also, the home run derby as well. Ohtani and Soto battle, where they had to go to the extra inning or extra hits, or however you want to call it. That was kind of exciting. But what about Trey Mancini and what he battled through and to be able to compete in that? That was inspiring. Glad to see he was able to get back out there and do that.
Absolutely. From Dan is saying that tonight's game is also postponed.
Wow, that's breaking news because they were supposed to play tonight. Yeah, they were supposed to play tonight.
So my guess is that more players are
testing positive
and probably on the Red Sox as well. This could be altering because you know when you get COVID, it takes a lot out of you for a long period of time, and this could change a season. We're in a different world now.
We are. Ronald Acuna Jr. suffered a knee injury that will keep him out for the rest of the season. Can the Braves still compete in the NL East?
No.
Dan, I'm not even going
to. That was their guy. That was their guy. I mean, you can't replace a player like that. I can make a trade. Now, Atlanta does have some young talent.
Yep. They did make a trade. They got Jock Peterson from the Cubs.
Oh,
but if you look at his numbers, 11 home runs, 39 RBIs. He's batting .230 so far this season. Acuna has had 24 home runs, 72 runs scored, 52 RBIs, batting .283. So there's a bit of a drop-off.
Apples and oranges is what we call this.
Something similar to that.
You can't compare the two, but what Peterson does do, it brings somebody in that is a capable player and can put up some numbers. So the batting average isn't going to be there.
He's capable, but look at this. Acuna was first in batting average on the team, first in home runs, and second in RBIs. You're basically taking their top player out. They are currently behind the Mets and Phillies. So the Mets are in first, Phillies in second, and the Nats are in fourth, only 2 games behind the Braves. So just in their division alone, I mean, there's a lot there to try to, jump over and compete with.
Right. There's 4 solid teams there, and, you figure 2 of them will probably make the playoffs. So Atlanta is not going to make the playoffs. Yeah,
I seem to agree. Dan seems to think they're a juggernaut. I'm going to say they're a juggernaut with Acuna. Without him, they are just an average team.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some NFL. Yeah. So, which quarterback of these second-year quarterbacks do you feel is going to have a better season this year, Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert?
Okay, so I am going to say Herbert, and I might actually think that Burrow is better.
Okay.
But Burrow doesn't have a line, and he's going to get killed back there. And we talked about this at the draft. I don't think he might not play the whole season. So
I love it.
He's not going to have as good a numbers. Herbert.
Okay. I'm going Burrow, and I'm going to tell you why. As well as Herbert played, you got to remember something. They changed their coaching staff. He's going to have a new offensive coordinator this season. Joe Lombardi is actually coaching the offense this year. He was with New Orleans for the last 5 years. So now you're implementing a new offensive system. That's going to hurt him. Joe Burrow, on the other hand, is getting Jamar Chase, who was his top wide receiver in college. They're going to be on the same play, right? The same. So we're not talking about record. I'm not talking about record because San Diego should be a better team. Los Angeles, I am so sorry. Los Angeles should be a better team. But to me, Joe Burrow is going to have a better season because he's going to have a player with him, and he's in the same system for the last 2 years. That helps him.
So if he gets hurt by week 5, is that a better season?
So if you really if you broke down the numbers, Burrow played in 10 games. He threw for almost 2,700 yards.
Right.
And if you look at and 15 games for Herbert, he threw for 43. If you do the average, Joe Burrow would have had the same amount of yardage as Herbert if he stayed healthy.
Right. But that's what I was saying. I actually think Burrow is actually a better quarterback. But what I'm saying is he's probably not going to be able to finish a season.
All right, but you got to take that out of the equation. I'm just saying, which one would have a better season?
You don't take it out of these. You don't take it.
You can't. You're assuming. Of the equation. You're assuming.
Because it's going to happen.
All right.
It's going to happen. That offensive line can block anybody. You gotta figure somebody's gonna get hurt.
So we did a Facebook poll. 59% of the fans, 59% of the fans said that Herbert is going to be a better quarterback next season. It doesn't mean they're right.
He's going to make it to the end of the season.
Okay. So, also in NFL news, star cornerback Richard Sherman was arrested on Wednesday after attempting to break into his in-laws' home. Sherman was drinking prior to and had threatened suicide. The judge has released him without bail. How do you feel this affects, his status with the league, his status with the team, and do you think the court systems did him right?
Well, I think he's going to have a hard time finding a place to play this year. And it's going to be very late when and if he gets to play this year. I think the league is going to come to him, and I think he's going to have to at least miss half the season. I mean, this is just ugly. It's ugly. This is a guy that is supposedly one of the top players on the defensive side of the ball in the league, and you basically just threw it away. You just threw it away.
Dan continues to break some news for us. He's saying he was released today.
Yeah, but you just said that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you said he was released without bail.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's talking about, I thought by the team. He's talking about bail. Okay. Jail. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's a free agent.
Released him.
No, he's a free agent.
Even worse. Oh, wow. Okay. You know what?
Right. So he's a free agent. He might not play.
He's all done. He's all done. And there's been several arrests this off season with some players. So I think Mingo with the Atlanta Falcons, the linebacker, and he got released by the team. Like, there's just been some strange stuff going on this off season with some of these players.
No, it's getting ridiculous, to be honest with you.
This was definitely an odd story. Ron, what time is it, baby?
Pick and roll.
Pick and roll, my friend.
It is.
So we are going to rank the 4 Boston sports teams and their importance to the city. So we're ranking the Boston Red Sox, the Boston Celtics, the Boston Bruins, and the New England Patriots. So you went first last week, so I'm up first this week. So at number 4.
Oh, yeah.
At number 4, I have the Boston Celtics. They've won 31 division titles, 9 conference championships, 9 conference titles, and 17 championships. But their relevance in Boston sports was in the 80s. The 90s, they were one of the worst teams in the league. And even that one blip with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, that's what they've really had. They've always been underachievers. And I don't think Boston really cares if they win or lose, even currently. Like, if they win, great. If they don't, they're not upset. Fans don't care. At number 3, this one's for you, my friend, the Boston Bruins. 29 division titles, 5 conference, 6 Stanley Cups. But again, to me, history more than current, because the fans of the Bruins are accepting that they should have won. To me, feel like they should have won another Stanley Cup by now, but they're okay with them not winning it. They make excuses. That wouldn't happen on other teams. At number 2, the New England Patriots. 23 division titles, 11 conference championships, 6 Super Bowl titles. The Brady-Belichick era is still around, with Belichick being around. We still have bragging rights that we're one of the best teams for the last 20-plus years. The fans still care about what happens with this team. We've talked about them consistently throughout these last few months, even with them not being involved in any sport, because it's the offseason, because we care about what happens with the New England Patriots. But the number 1 team in Boston currently are the Boston Red Sox. 14 pennants, 9 World Series titles. But this is a baseball town. It drives me nuts that no matter what's going on at what point in time, the Boston Red Sox are all people care about in Boston, first and foremost. The other 3 teams, it doesn't matter. But it all matters what the Sox do. They care about the Sox. The Sox are the team. That is the team that symbolizes Boston sports most to the fans in Boston. That is my pick and roll.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. And what you said, legitimizes that list. But I'm going to give you a different one.
I would expect no different.
And I'm going to surprise you at number 4. I have the New England Patriots. Why? Because they're not really in Boston. They're not in Boston. So
are you serious right now?
You can't even say that they're more important to Boston. They're more important in Foxborough.
Okay.
They're more important there.
All right.
If Kraft could, he would change Foxborough to the state capital. He would do that if he could. So
how many Monday night games have you watched?
Because they're not a Boston team.
How many Monday night games have you watched? They always pan to the city of Boston. But go ahead.
I know, and it bothers me. And it bothers me because they're not in Boston. Number of the Celtics and the Green Team fans. If there's a fair weather fan in Boston, it's a Celtic fan. The Celtics fan think that everything the Celtics do is right, and it's all roses and they're delusional fans. So and they just it's like they go on. It's like even if they come in dead last, they feel like they won the championship, and it's so ridiculous. Number 2, I have the Bruins, and I think you're wrong about accepting losses.
That's a shock.
These fans do not accept losses. They are hardcore Bruin fans, but they demand excellence. And it's killing all the Bruin fans right now that they did not win this cup. And it should have been a Bruin Montreal Stanley Cup. And fans are pissed. They are pissed off. And if there wasn't any passion like that, then Bruins wouldn't matter. But this team matters to Boston. It matters a lot. But all 3 of them, like you said, don't match up to the Red Sox because, look, I mean, Boston Red Sox have been around a long time. And these fans, once that curse started really grabbing hold, it didn't matter if they came in last place. The fans were there. And once that curse began, that's made everything, double over, all the fans and what their passion is about this team. And, Doesn't matter who steps into that
What was
uniform.
the name of the Jimmy Fallon movie? What was the name of the Jimmy Fallon movie?
Fever Pitch.
Fever Pitch, right? No. Was it Fever Pitch? It wasn't Fever Pitch.
Fever Pitch.
Was it Fever Pitch?
Yes.
And you think about how he portrayed that Boston Red Sox fan. And you remember they would all sit around at that right before the season and how many games they would win, and this is why they're going to win this series, and it wouldn't happen, but they've done it every year. That to me epitomized what Boston feels about the Red Sox. Like it was every year, and even today, no matter what happens, they want the Sox to win. If no other team wins in Boston or New England, as you want to call it, they want the Red Sox to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that comment by Dan. Thank you, Dan. Okay. That was phenomenal, Dan. Great job. Great job. Yeah. Once again, if you're joining us, we are live. We're on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We're on every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports on Instagram, and on our podcast, Anchor, Spotify, and Google. So a lot of different ways. We've got a lot of fans out there tonight. Appreciate all the following, all the comments. You guys have been awesome tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Dixie Gaming is there also. So we got a bunch of players, a bunch of Twitchers online today.
No, we love it. You guys were excellent. Thank you so much.
It's been awesome.
Ron, we're on. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, we're on to our face-off. So our face-off, I'm gonna throw the question out there. I'm gonna see if any of these fans want to give us who's for or who's against this. So should the leagues eliminate the All-Star game, Pro Bowl, etc.? And one of us has to agree that they should, and one of us has to agree that they shouldn't eliminate them. So if we could get anybody out there that's watching currently, who should be for them eliminating the All-Star Pro Bowl games, and who should be against them eliminating them? See if we get any other fans out there. Eric against. So I am against them eliminating the All-Star games.
Damn. Why do I always get the ones where I have to argue a point, that
so you're for them. No, you're for them eliminating it. You want them
eliminating it. Yeah.
And I'm against it.
Okay. All right. Let's do this.
Taurus 24, thanks for joining. All right. Taurus. So whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Oh, I'm first?
No, I'm first, but you meant quick fire. So I'll start it off. Okay.
All right.
Basically, I look at it this way. Why would they eliminate a game that brings all the stars together, that gives us entertainment factors? That's what sports is about. It's about entertainment. So it's not about numbers. It's about enjoying the top players and watching these top players play with each other. I like some of the ways they've now stopped, instead of going East versus West, it's like a draft system and having fun with it, and players can play from West and East and do some different things. So it's fun. It's fun to see.
It's all fluff. They're changing it up because they're trying to mask how bad this game really is in every league. Like, you watch these games in all the leagues, it's not even their true game. Football, God forbid if anybody played defense in football, like you can't do anything. It's not the real game. You just have the quarterback throwing to a receiver the whole time. It's pointless. Football, get rid of it. Baseball, nobody even cares about the game in baseball.
Vlad Guerrero, that was a great story. You said it. His father played. We got to see him play. You're seeing all these young kids whose dads played in these games. Like, how great is that to see? And they get to play together.
Is it great? Like, it's not. The NHL, you can't check anybody.
Who didn't like the home run derby?
Yes, and that's
skill
fine.
challenge.
This is what I'm saying.
And hockey.
Instead of all-star games where you risk the players getting hurt and being out for a season, for nothing.
Mr. Pessimist on everything.
Skills. No, you do the skills challenges. You do meet and greet so fans can go and actually meet these players, put them in an environment where it's more meaningful for the fans instead of playing these stupid, pointless games that don't matter. And it doesn't even display. Who wants to see a basketball game 189 to 188? Nobody.
Why not? Oh, that's phenomenal.
Oh, my God, it's so terrible.
Oh, shoot from half court making it. Like, who doesn't want to see that? As a kid, when you were playing in the playground, as a kid, you're playing in the playground. You're throwing up half-court shots to see if you can make it. These guys are doing it just for a show and give the fans something exciting to see and making them.
It is pointless. It's not the actual game, and it's
not supposed to be. It's the All-Star game.
Nobody even likes to
watch it. It's a video game. We play Madden football. We play NBA 2K.
It's not even that
because we want to score 100 points with one player. This is what these guys are trying to do. It makes it fun. We got gamers out there. They understand it.
Yeah, sure. There's no point in the game. And even baseball trying to mask it. Oh, it's worth home field advantage. It's crap. It's crap. And in baseball now, you don't even have the luxury. You don't have the luxury of the leagues not even playing each other anymore. Now there's all this interleague play, so you see these players anyway. It doesn't matter. It should be gone. Get rid of it. Just do meet and greets and skills competitions. That's all you need.
Well, clearly I won that one, as usual. Fans out there, let us know who won. Appreciate it. As usual, clearly won that argument.
No. Watch all
so
they're all going to step up.
We're going to our prediction time. And I beat you last week 2-1. You got the American League. You picked the American League. But your Conor McGregor pick didn't come through for you.
Well, the guy I wanted to win did.
Less kangaroos. What All-Star game is he watching? I don't know what Dan watches. Dan's watching rugby, Australian rugby or something. The All-Star game.
Rugby is good.
He's watching the Australian All-Star rugby game now. See, they bring out kangaroos. You didn't see that. See? Kangaroos All-Star game. Ron, you don't get that in regular rugby. Thank you.
Well, if you had kangaroos in All-Star games, then that would be more entertaining.
All right, let's go with Game 5 on July 17th. Bucks at Suns. That's this Saturday night.
Suns. I get the Suns.
You're going Suns.
My home team.
I'm going Bucks, ending the series in 6. Major League Baseball, July 16th. So starting tonight, Astros at the White Sox. It's a 3-game series.
How many guys did they have at the All-Star game? No, I'm going to pick Chicago White Sox. Going to win that series 2-1.
I'm going to go with the White Sox as well.
Wow.
San Fran, this is an interesting series starting tomorrow. 4-game set. San Fran at LA to the Dodgers. This could swap the NL West right now. So I think they're like 2 games between each other.
San Fran's ahead, right?
San Fran is ahead currently.
Okay, so I'm going to go 2-2. It's going to be split.
Are you kidding? I was thinking the same thing. Oh, man. So we're even. We got 1 game. We're going Bucks Suns is going to cover this prediction.
So that is tomorrow night?
That is tomorrow night.
So all we've got. So I'll gain another game on you. That's what you're saying.
If you think so, I don't know, man. I think you haven't convinced me that the Suns got enough gas to. They've struggled the last 2 games.
Look, I haven't convinced myself of that.
Yeah,
because
I like it.
That close, like anybody can win.
Although there might be kangaroos involved now. I don't know what's going on, Dan. We went a different route altogether.
Yeah.
So we've got some good stuff coming up next week. Obviously, we should have an NBA champ, unless something crazy happens and it gets delayed. We're going to have some baseball trade talk as the baseball deadline will be on July 30th. So there'll be some baseball trades We'll discuss who we think might be moving on and what teams should make trades or should be selling.
Yankees.
They might have to be at this point. They're not going to have anybody playing tonight. Oh, well, the game got postponed. Our face-off next week. Are you ready for this one?
Oh, my gosh.
Who is a bigger star in Boston, David Ortiz or Tom Brady?
Ooh.
One of us has to argue for the other. It's going to be a tough one.
Holy mackerel. Oh, I might be calling out sick that week.
Pick and roll. Our pick and roll next week. We're going to rank the new NBA coach hires. So we're going to rank how do we think the new coach hires and who's going to be the best coach for their team. And we'll have a special interview with Paul Rogers, the GM of the Providence Pirates. He'll join us again on Sports Unfolded just to cover some things that they're doing with the Providence Pirates. Ron, I know you have a little more details on that.
Yeah, it's like we have the combine coming up for them and a special basketball tournament coming up, and he's going to give us all the details on that, where it is, and what's going to happen, what the process of the combine. And I think that'll be really interesting, especially for those the tournament for local Rhode Island, players. So I think that's going to be
that'll be kind of fun.
And
I'm looking forward to interviewing. We've had Paul on the show before. Yep.
Yeah. So I cannot wait to talk to them with spring season. I'm excited. Yay.
So once again, if you're joining us, we're live on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We're on every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on our Instagram, and on our podcast, we got Anchor, Spotify, and Google. So a lot of different ways to follow us, a lot of different ways to listen. We appreciate all the fans out there tonight. We got Dan on YouTube. We got Twitch for Taurus, Memphis 2345 2. So you guys have been great. We really appreciate all the support tonight.
Yeah,
a lot of Twitchers out there tonight.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched that show,
all right, go ahead.
No, so if you haven't watched our show before, what we do, we have a final thought. Our final thought could be about anything. It doesn't necessarily have to cover sports. It doesn't need to be sports related. Just something we might be feeling or want to get off our chest. Last week you went first, Ron, so I'm up first this week. So my final thought is just on these COVID cases. So we've seen it recently with the delay with the New York Yankees Boston Red Sox series with 6 players on the Yankees testing positive. But I also look at Bradley Beal, whose dream was to play on the Olympics and play for our country, and he's unable to do that. The Fury Wilder fight that got postponed till now October because I believe Fury tested positive for COVID. As much as a country, as much as the world, we want to believe that we're starting to come to the end of this crisis in this pandemic. It's still evident that it's still there. It's still affecting the sports world. It's still affecting us as just human beings in general. So I hope everyone stays safe. I hope we still continue to try to make sure that we're staying as safe as possible, because it's just a shame that we may have to relive what we had to relive in 2020 if it continues to grow. And I know for a fact, as a sports fan, it was probably the hardest 3 to 4 months where just not having any sports at all. And, now not seeing any fans in the Olympics it's just another thing that just keeps reminding us that it's still there and we need to be cautious. So people let's stay safe. Let's continue to try to make sure that we're following some of those, COVID protocols so that this doesn't get worse again and we can get better and heal as a nation and a country and a world. So that's my final thought.
Excellent point. That was spot on, Eric. Spot on. It is such a dangerous time because a lot of people just aren't even acknowledging that it exists anymore, and that is sorely mistaken. Um, First, I want to give a shout out to all those Twitch guys and Dan, of course. Um, I'm going to make a post. I'm going to, make a post after the show of all the people that participated in the chat today. But my final thought goes out to Richard Sherman. What are you thinking, Richard? You have the world in the palm of your hand, and you do what happened the other night. It's mind-boggling how every year we go through the same thing every year, and it's booze. These guys control themselves when they go out, and always a player every year that does the same thing. Drunk, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. He broke the door down of his ex's parents or whoever it was. But it's always the same thing, and it's just a different name. What has to be done is these players need to go through some sort of protocol, that they have to be accountable, and there has to be an absolute, you get in trouble for this, the kind of thing, domestic violence. There has to be, consequences that exist. These fake ones where you get suspended for a couple of games and you just sign a big multi-million-dollar contract. I think that it has to hit their wallet. It has to hit the wallet. So when you get charged and convicted, especially of any kind of domestic or drug abuse or alcohol abuse, there should be a cap on what you can sign for after that. That, I think, needs to be put in place, and there needs to be stiffer penalties. And it's not just football. It's all sports. A lot of sports just cover it up better. The NFL players are out there. So, like Rob Gronkowski, he used to go out all the time. He has parties. Parties better than it. But he conducts himself the right way. Why can't these other players do that? And it's just the same every year.
No, that's it. Great point, Ron. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you recall the tragedy with the goaltender? I just wanted to mention that. Was it from Nashville?
I was going to do my thought on that, but I wasn't sure on all of the details. It's such a tragic, and I might do a little write-up for the site. Maybe we can get some information because I don't want to give false information, so I didn't want to do that.
No, absolutely. No, okay, all right. Yeah. So once again, we want to thank you for joining us live on Rhode Island Broadcasting, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Fans have been great tonight. We'd love to see the support. Make sure you follow those sites. Follow us on Sports Unfolded. Follow us on Broadcasting RI. Just helps us provide information so that we can make sure that we get what the fans want. Post a lot of Facebook polls, Twitter polls, just to give us something to talk about, what the fans want to talk about. So great show tonight, Ron. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the time. As usual, I won the face-off. I won the pick and roll. I don't know why you keep doing this every week to yourself, but fans out there, thank you so much. Ron, have a great night. Fans out there, you have a great night. Appreciate all the support.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.